Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to take a grand tour of one of the most amazing transport networks you could ever imagine, your very own circulatory system. It is a nonstop 24/7 delivery service, a biological marvel that's working inside you right this very second. So let's jump right in.
So just stop and think about this for a moment. You've got trillions of cells, right? And every single one of them needs oxygen, it needs nutrients just to stay alive. Plus, they all make waste that has to get hauled away. I mean, how on earth does your body manage this huge logistical challenge? Well, the answer is this incredibly elegant and powerful system we're about to explore. And the hero of this whole story is the circulatory system. You might have also heard it called the cardiovascular system. At its core, it's an organ system with one absolutely critical job: transportation. Think of it as the ultimate internal courier service. Now, this whole system works because of three key players that are in perfect sync. First up, you've got the heart. It's the powerful, relentless pump. Then you have the blood vessels. These are the highways, the roads, the little side streets of the system. And get this, if you laid them all out end to end, they would circle the Earth more than twice. It's incredible. And finally, you've got the blood itself, acting as the fleet of delivery trucks carrying all that precious cargo. Okay, so here's where the design gets really, really clever. It's not just one giant, simple loop. Our circulatory system is what we call a double system. That means the blood actually makes two separate circuits, or trips. And this two-part journey is the secret to just how efficient it is. So what does that double system actually mean? It means that for every single full trip around your body, a drop of blood has to pass through the heart twice. That's the key. One of those loops is just for picking up the goods, the oxygen, and the other loop is for making all the deliveries. And this breaks it down perfectly. Over on the left, you see the pulmonary circuit. This is the short trip. It just goes from the heart to the lungs and right back to the heart again. Its whole purpose? To get that blood loaded up with fresh oxygen. Then on the right, you have the much bigger systemic circuit. This is where that fresh, oxygen-rich blood gets pumped from the heart out to literally every other part of your body before it comes back. And right at the center of both of these circuits, of course, is the heart. So let's zoom in and take a closer look at this amazing muscular pump. A really good way to think about it is like a house with 4 separate rooms or chambers, and each one has its own very specific job to do. So here are those 4 rooms. The 2 chambers up top are called the atria, and the 2 bottom chambers are the ventricles. You've got a right atrium and a right ventricle, and the left atrium and a left ventricle. This 4-chamber design is what makes the whole double circuit system possible by keeping the oxygen-rich and oxygen-poor blood from mixing. Now wait, before we go on, here's a quick tip that trips up pretty much everyone at first. When you're looking at a diagram of the heart, you're seeing it as if it's inside a person who's standing right in front of you, facing you. So their left is on your right and their right is on your left. Just keep that in mind and all these diagrams will make a whole lot more sense. Now, take a look at the 2 main pumping chambers, the ventricles. You'll notice the left ventricle has a way thicker, more muscular wall. So why is that? Well, think about it. The great ventricle only has to pump blood a tiny distance, right next door to the lungs. But the left ventricle, it has the huge job of pumping blood to your entire body, all the way to your brain, all the way down to your toes. It needs all that extra muscle power to get the job done. All right, it's time for the main event of our tour. We've met all the players, we've seen the map of the highways. Now we are actually going to follow a drop of blood as it makes its way through the entire double circuit. Let's trace that flow. Okay, let's follow this incredible journey step by step. Starting with number 1, imagine that used oxygen-poor blood coming back from its trip around the body. It flows into the heart's first chamber, the right atrium. Then, for step 2, it gets pushed down into the right ventricle. Now the heart is getting ready for its first big push. Step 3, the right ventricle squeezes and it pumps that deoxygenated blood out through the pulmonary artery. And a great way to remember this is that arteries always carry blood away from the heart, so off it goes to the lungs. Now in the lungs, it drops off CO2 and picks up fresh oxygen. Then in step 4, that bright red oxygenated blood returns to the heart, entering the left atrium through the pulmonary vein. And you guessed it, veins always bring blood back to the heart. From there, it's on to step 5. The blood moves down into the super powerful left ventricle, kind of like the main engine room of the heart. And finally, the grand finale, step 6. The left ventricle contracts with incredible force, sending that oxygen-rich blood blasting out through the body's main highway, the aorta, to start its whole delivery route all over again. And the craziest part, that entire circuit we just described takes less than a minute.
Wow.
So we've covered the heart's big job of pumping blood everywhere else. But there is one last fascinating detail. You see, the heart is a muscle itself, and it's working harder than any other muscle in your body. And just like any muscle, it needs its own dedicated supply of oxygen and fuel to keep going. So, how does it feed itself?
And the answer is the coronary arteries. These are really important little arteries that branch off right from the very start of the aorta. They wrap around the outside of the heart, kind of like a crown, which is actually where the name coronary comes from. And they deliver that essential oxygenated blood directly to the heart muscle, making sure that pump keeps running 24/7. And that brings us to a final thought. This whole system, it's so elegant. It works tirelessly every second of every day for your whole life. But those personal pipelines that feed the heart itself, those coronary arteries, are absolutely critical. And it makes you wonder, what happens when one of those essential pipelines gets blocked? That question really brings home just how vital, and maybe how fragile, this amazing system truly is.